Should the Dallas Cowboys go after Shaq Leonard, or do you want to wait until Broaddus gets here and I can switch it up and give you a totally different topic?
Let's give our opinion without Broaddus, and then we can really either be like, yes, my opinion was good, or oh no.
I was listening to Broaddus yesterday on the drive home as they were kind of discussing it a little bit, and a lot of what he was saying fit what we were discussing yesterday regarding what the player is right now, what it looks like. I really enjoyed hearing Broaddus talk about how he doesn't look like he was laboring to get to the places that he wanted to go, the way he wanted to move his hips and get to a certain place. Broaddus was really driving in on what he physically looks like, and he went and watched all those things. And to add a player like that to what you do, it allows you to, Dan Quinn, to have more options again. Because if you look at what they're doing right now with the 17 safeties they're running out there, their options are limited when it comes to having bigger bodies out there. So if you add something like that to it, that's something I'm looking at is, can Marquise Bell be the linebacker you need all the time or some of the times? And if you can kind of replace some of those reps, some of those options with that, then I'm feeling pretty good about adding, if you can, go get that guy on this team.
So we bring on the man himself, Bryan Broaddus. Before we get any further into this, and if you want to say no, I could just ask you off air. Somebody already did a buy it now for your Hurtado's dinner.
I'd love to do a second one if we can do that.
I was just, okay.
Hurtado, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hurtado, for providing that to the charity. Yeah, absolutely. I saw, and matter of fact, on Twitter last night, I don't know who bought it, but I thanked them. I hope they maybe saw that.
Nice.
And I encouraged them to vote for Lucius's fishing package.
Oh my gosh.
How awesome is that, right?
I might bid on that myself.
Me too.
Because hanging out with Lucius and fishing would be a lot of fun. Would be a ton of fun. But yeah, absolutely. If I was going to bring it up, I'm sorry I was running late. I brought you guys, I made some homemade breakfast tacos this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Sausage, egg, and cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese. So they're in the bags over there. But yeah, I misjudged. I got up at 4:30 to do this, and I was running a little late on that. So my apologies.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Okay, I was late too.
Were you?
Yep.
For professional athletes usually aren't late.
Yeah, it was an accident.
Was it really?
Yeah, I missed my exit.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'll happen too.
Fits you.
Fits you. Yeah.
It doesn't fit me.
No opinion, a bad opinion. Who said about bad opinions? Was
Well,
Mike?
I was just saying we have our opinion, but you are a professional scout.
That's why I'm doing radio.
So I'm just basing it off of reputation and age, and reputation and age says that the Shaq can still play.
The Shaq can still play. Yesterday, when that all broke down, now the question will be, you guys mentioned about all the line. The Cowboys, I found the stat really funny. I'm getting into this next-gen stuff. I never did that before, but the Cowboys have got me on this platform where I can kind of dig in on things. And I'm thinking, they play a lot of nickel. No, it's dime. They play dime because of the extra the safety playing the linebacker. So they're really playing with 6 defensive backs, and they're trying to get around it because they don't have any linebackers.
It's necessity, right?
It's absolutely what they have to do right now. And so if you're looking at the Cowboys and we start to talk about the draft, I guess linebacker is going to be an area you're probably going to look at pretty strong. But this guy could still play. I don't know the situation. When I get off. After we'll be with you guys, I'm going to make some calls and find out why Indianapolis moved on from this particular player.
One of the things that we kicked around yesterday, and people are like, hey, how about going through waivers and everything like that, is if you're ready to step up and take a sizable hit, I feel as though you'll probably be in a small company and can jump to the front of the line and pick him up.
Yeah, you're in a waiver situation where it's done by record.
And how many teams want to take the $6 million hit, right?
Well, that's you have a team like the Bears, and Matt Eberflus was the defensive coordinator in Indianapolis when Leonard was at his absolute best. But you got to know, if you're the Bears, are we planning on firing Matt Eberflus? Do we want to bring in a player? This would be more about right now and then finding a way to, keep the player around potentially, because you got him for a couple of years there. But it's there's probably not many teams that will do that. But maybe, like I say, you're going to have to recruit if this thing goes through waivers, and now you're going to have to recruit. There's some teams out there that desperately need linebacker help. Eagles, there's teams ahead. I'm not ahead of you. The Eagles would be behind you, but you're going to have to recruit is what you're going to have to do.
And you think somebody will pay him the $6 million?
The team that just comes to mind to me is the Bears, just because Matt Eberflus. But how solid ground if you're if you're the front office at the Bears, you're thinking, okay, Eberflus wants this player, but Eberflus ain't going to be here after this year. Maybe you know that. And so you move on that way.
I know you said you'd find out more after.
There's something going on here.
Okay. If you had the reins, would you consider then?
Absolutely.
Let's just say the Bears don't pick him up.
Absolutely,
okay.
I would. Yeah, just because of the way my team is configured right now, one of the things that we were all talking about, and trust me, they listen to us out there. They know, but they always agree with us? Absolutely not. But they do listen to what we say. And so to me, this is where, you were thinking about trade deadline. What could they use? They could use a linebacker.
Yeah.
So the NFL gods have thrown you a linebacker after the trade deadline that could actually play.
Would this technically be like a rental, though? Like in baseball, it's, you get a guy that is released like this, you only get a little bit
If you
of
claim
time.
the contract, we got we got him for next.
He's not complete. Okay.
No.
That's what I guess I didn't know.
Yeah, but the beauty
I'll
is
take a rental.
You're off the hook for a lot of that guaranteed money.
Right.
And so you could bail if you wanted to. But he is.
Glad you're around the station, Heggie. You have an understanding of these numbers.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
I mean, Heggie could look at a contract and say, okay, now we could get out of this thing. April 24th of 2024, we can get rid of this guy.
It's just really neat and interesting. And honestly, that's a competitive advantage. If you have the right people who know how to get that extra $500,000 or whatever, that stacks up.
That does stack up. We got to figure out why they stopped playing him on all downs. He was a 3-down player at one time, Mike, in his career, and now he's gone to where they play him on first and second down. I need to ask some folks, okay, at Indianapolis, do you have a situation where Chris Ballard, the general manager, drafted somebody and is trying to get that player more playing time?
How easy do you think it would be for Shaq Leonard, let's just put him on the Cowboys, to immediately impact the team? To give you an idea, just because I don't know, Kyrie Irving couldn't do it, right? Because there's chemistry and there's how do I play off of these guys and all of this stuff. So I'm wondering how a linebacker comes in, learns the system, and is an impact.
No, I think you make a really good point. I think with this one, you look at the play style and you start to think this guy could fit into what we're going to do. He's the one thing that you notice on film that really jumps out is his ability to run still. I was worried about, okay, is he not, when you watch him play, and I was watching him against Derek's Brownies, and, when he was the movement side of things, if a guy looks like if he's stiff or he can't turn or he can't run, then you're thinking like, okay, I see why they're giving up on this guy. But that wasn't the case at all. So, Mike, to your point, give me a linebacker that can run sideline to sideline. That's what we kind of see with the Cowboys and what they play with their linebackers. They might not always be great at taking on blocks, but they could run, sideline to sideline. They got speed. This guy can clearly still do those things.
Still physical enough to go fill gaps.
Yeah,
and get
absolutely. Through. That's the thing about it is he's a finisher. There was a time and space where Zeke got him on a swing pass. He had 9 tackles the last time when they were the game I got to see. They were playing the Colts. The Colts were playing the Patriots in Berlin, and he was just all over the field that particular day. So if you give me a guy that can move and can tackle and play linebacker in a team that doesn't have a lot of linebackers right now, then I think I'm surely looking at it.
I know the position's different, but can you compare the difference between him and the addition of Anthony Barr last year?
Anthony Barr is done.
He was stiff, right?
Anthony Barr couldn't move, and I think what happened was Anthony Barr played the best he could play at that particular time in his career, but there was a lot of Anthony Barr could still think the game, could still react, but he didn't have the quickness or the lateral agility or any of that to be able to make enough plays.
Yeah.
This guy still has that ability.
Something I was curious about is immediately after Leonard was waived, he was out doing
handing out turkeys.
Yeah, his Thanksgiving charity drive. We talk about exactly. We talk about stuff like that and it's super cool. Does stuff like that matter in the office, or you're like, hey, that's super great? I need to know if he can still make these tackles.
I think that you will do your legwork on asking. Stephon Gilmore played with him with the Colts last year.
Yep.
And so you're able to kind of, maybe you're in a situation where you know somebody on the Colts. Maybe Will McClay might have a really good relationship with Chris Ballard. Maybe Dan Quinn has a relationship with Gus Bradley, and then Gus is like, listen, this guy will fit. Matter of fact, there was a story, I think Eric Giafalo said it yesterday, about how when they got Stephon Gilmore in the trade, Gus Bradley said, you're going to love playing for Dan Quinn. You're going to absolutely love playing for him. So there's back channel ways of finding out about the player's makeup and how he can potentially fit into your scheme. You're going to do a lot. There's going to be everybody who's a part of this is going to have some responsibility to Will McClay and Stephen Jones as far as bringing information.
And I'm not saying that if the Cowboys don't do this, it means they don't believe in this at all. But some of your breakdown has me thinking when the Cowboys always talk about, hey, we have salary cap space just in case, and it rolls over and everything like that. And they're like, hey, if that move came along, we would make it. This kind of feels like that move. I
said it earlier. I feel like the football gods threw you one here. You're in the home stretch and you're about to play some games against some teams. I know we talk about it a lot on our station about how you're going to defend the run, how you're going to be able to play, how you're going to get talented players on the field in order to match with the Eagles or match with what's going on in San Francisco or, games potentially you're looking for down the stretch.
This might be a question that takes longer to answer than we have, but we have all day. So whatever.
Good point.
The idea, and I don't know if you subscribe to this idea, Broaddus, that they're like, hey, we are fine. Defensive coordinators are fine with you running the ball as long as you're not striking big downfield against us.
Right.
If you're in that mindset, the Cowboys have been pretty good at not letting teams do that.
No.
So has that been a payoff or just something you have to give up? And is it worth it? Are they good enough against the run right now that they don't have to add?
It's funny that the opponent you're going to play Thursday refuses to run the ball, and they're actually good at it. The Commanders are one of those teams. They lead
Brian
the league.
Robinson's good.
They lead the league in pass attempts. They lead the league in completions
and interception.
And they're up there. They're up there, right there with the interception. But they do throw the ball every snap. And you wonder if Eric Bieniemy is going to come in this game and see some of the problems. And I call them problems because when you watch the All-22, and Corey, I know you do that. When you watch the game against Carolina, a lot of self-inflicted, a lot of getting turned, a lot of guessing, a lot. When the Cowboys are bad on run defense, it's usually self-inflicted.
Yeah.
When they're on the screws, they're usually locked in and ready to play run defense. I just worry about in a short week that the Commanders say, you know what, if we let this defense rush us all day and pass rush all day, we're going to give up 8 sacks. The left side of their offensive line cannot hold up in this game if, in fact, they commit to a complete throw the football every snap day.
And they've been giving Howell some David Carr vibes with how many times he's been getting sacked.
51 times. It's second most. Yeah. Only the Giants have been sacked more, and the pressures are some of the highest that you'll see in the league. So, you have to – I feel like that, you don't have a lot of practice time. You don't have an expansive game plan for this game because it's such a short week. So you really have to kind of go with what you know. Maybe you have 3 or 4 pass plays you really like, and maybe you've got 3 or 4 run plays you really like, and that's going to be your offense. You want to make sure that you call things that your players are completely comfortable with. So, I mean, if I'm Eric Bieniemy and I'm watching tape, I'm like, I do not want them rushing me. Yeah. There's no way I'm going to try. It looks like that Carolina had some success running the football, and I'm going to take a chance that we can get that done today.